Are you looking to make a difference in our community? One way to do that is by becoming involved in local government. By signing up for one of the many boards and commissions, you can have a direct impact on the decisions that shape the future of Vallejo. Whether it's advocating for policies that matter to you, improving parks and schools, or planning and developing the future, your voice can be heard through local government. But it's not just about making a difference. Serving on a board or commission can also be a great opportunity for personal growth and development. You'll have the opportunity to learn new skills, meet new people, and gain valuable experience that can enhance your resume and career. The City of Vallejo currently has several positions available, so there is no question that this is your chance to get involved. Take the first step towards making a positive impact in your community by signing up for a City of Vallejo board or commission today. Be the change you want to see. Apply for a board or commission at cityofvallejo.net or contact city.clerk@cityofvallejo.net for more information.
It's an unruly group tonight. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 6:36. And
Chair, we might want to wait for Nalungu just for a second. She forgot something that
oh,
you guys are going to
that'd be
need
good.
later.
Okay. Okay, as I said before, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's now 6:38. Let's stand for the pledge. Can the secretary call the roll?
Chair Lewis. Vice Chair Sykes.
Present.
Commissioner Qualls. Commissioner Hybels.
Present.
Commissioner Roy.
Present.
Commissioner Yun.
Present.
All members, we have a quorum.
Next up is the community forum. Any members of the public that would like to speak in person or by Zoom on any matter not on the agenda can use this time to speak.
Through the chair, thank you. We do have a couple of members in the audience who would like to speak. First speaker is Sana S., followed by Dr. Scheusel.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Sana. I'm an organizer with ACLU NorCal. We want to encourage POAC to ensure that meetings are noticed and that agendas are posted at least 3 days in advance to abide by the Brown Act, and also just to give community members more time to be able to prepare for the content of the meeting and provide meaningful input. As POAC begins review of 2 additional policies, the records maintenance and release and temporary custody of adults, we would like to see a timeline provided to the public so that everyone is clear about how many and which meetings these policies will be discussed at, and so they can plan to provide feedback and comments before the policy review process ends. Timelines should include whether these policies will go through ad hoc committees for review as well. And while it might not always be legally required, we do encourage POAC to provide public notice when ad hoc committees are created and details about the ad hoc committee meeting schedule in the interest of true transparency and real community engagement. We also suggest that POAC consider having special meetings on a designated day and time for consistency and increased engagement from the public. We also support item 10D, the discussion of the creation of bylaws for POAC to address these concerns. We believe that bylaws will allow both the commission and the public to have a clear understanding of how POAC operates. We hope to see POAC act with a strong independent voice within the city to ensure your final policy recommendations align with the community's input and concerns. ACLU NorCal looks forward to ongoing engagement with POAC on VPD policy review. Thank you.
Next speaker, Dr. Scheusel.
I have 2 sets of comments to make. Why haven't you made a standing item on each agenda to report the progress in hiring an independent auditor and lawyer? Until these 2 individuals are hired, you are basically powerless and at the mercy of your staff. It's critical that you push staff not to drag their feet as they did with the formation of POAC and slowly walk the hiring process and drag it out. Until these people are hired and report directly to POAC, you will not be able to make any meaningful changes. Second, Mr. Reisner's statement at the last meeting that the city's attorney office is not under investigation is highly misleading. The Shaw Law Group PC was contracted by the Vallejo City Council in December 2025 to conduct a preliminary inquiry into whether a formal investigation of the city attorney's office is warranted. And I would say, Mr. Reisner, to the public, an investigation and inquiry means the same thing. You were just playing word games. The Shaw Group is tasked with reviewing claims that the city's attorney office misconduct allegations involving the Vallejo Police Department officers. The ACLU and other advocates argued that the city's attorney office cannot independently investigate its own actions, so an external firm was needed. This conflict of interest and others that the city attorney office has is why POAC needs access to an independent attorney ASAP. POAC needs to have the city attorney and her office from having any say in the hiring process except for signing the final contract. It should be made clear that the independent lawyer and auditor report directly to POAC. You need legal advice and investigations that the public can trust. And so far, you have not made it clear whether these two people are really independent or under the thumb of staff. Thank you.
And through the chair, no other speakers signed up for community forum at this time.
Okay, thank you. So next we have approval of the agenda and the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes from the special meeting last week?
Motion to approve.
Second.
So just to restate, motion by Hybels, second by Lewis. Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls. Yes. Commissioner Hybels,
Yes.
Commissioner Roy,
Yes.
Commissioner Yun.
Yes.
Passes by all members present.
Next is a report from members of the Police Oversight and Accountability Commission. Commissioner Sykes.
Thank you, Commissioner Chair. Lewis. I just want to comment on this. I was up to 1 o'clock this morning thinking about what I wanted to say this morning, or this evening. And I just want to say that the work of the POAC is constant and ongoing. The work of the commissioners is not light or for the faint of heart. It requires dedication, commitment, and putting in time and effort. So far, the commissioners have stepped up to the plate, and I want to personally thank each of them for the sacrifices they are making and for the meetings they have attended. On tonight's agenda, there is a request to form ad hoc committees for bylaws, goal setting, and to do a deep dive on VPD's complaint policy form. Ad hoc committees have been formed for the independent attorney and the IPA. The work is happening, and movement is occurring. So for those of you in the community who believe POAC is not doing anything, I'm here to reassure you every single commissioner sitting on this dais is involved and engaged. Meetings have been occurring with the city manager's office, the city attorney's office, and the police chief. We are working hard to meet the mandate put before us. What do we do to hold it together? We indulge in snacks and crack jokes during closed sessions and in ad hoc meetings to make the moments light, and we pat ourselves on the back when a task has been completed. Will we be able to satisfy everyone in the community? The answer is no, not in this lifetime, not ever. So as Commissioner Yoon so eloquently stated at the May meeting, give us grace as we continue to do the work. The work is being done as we continue to strengthen our relationships with the various city departments that are key to making this commission successful. The commissioners are striving to fulfill everything listed in the ordinance, understanding their limited resources at our disposal. We are thankful the City Council recently approved the POAC budget, with several community members commenting on the importance of funding this commission. Your support on this matter is greatly appreciated, and we want to thank you very much for hanging in there with us. So let's continue to work together to build viable relationships, make this commission stronger, and look for the positive in the work that is being done. Thank you.
Anybody else have a comment? Okay, so next we'll have the council liaison is in here. A report from the secretary.
Thank you. Commissioner Sykes stole some of my thunder, but I was going to announce that the council did approve Step 1 of the POAC budget on Tuesday. So just a formality, it'll go back before them on the 23rd for final approval. So you will have money for ongoing training as well as to fund the assigned attorney and the independent police auditor. Also wanted to report that yesterday the subcommittee convened to review all the proposals received from the RFP for the independent police auditor, and the top two proposers will be invited to an interview, which we expect to hopefully schedule within the next couple of weeks, definitely before the next POAC meeting in July, so we can bring that back to you then. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Good evening. Short report tonight just to give you an update on where we're at with the assigned attorney. The ad hoc committee has met. I think we've met twice now. We went over the initial proposals. We've interviewed 2 of the candidates. We're looking at interviewing 2 more of the candidates, and that should be taking place probably later this month, would be my guess. It just depends on the scheduling of the committee and the actual candidates themselves. So that is in process.
So next up is the action calendar. Item A, let's see.
So item 10A, approve community flyer and direct staff to post on the website in Spanish and Tagalog. So, is it still working? So there was a staff report included with this item, just for your edification. I believe that the POAC members were able to review the flyer before, and they made some suggestions, and the suggestions was to add a generic complaint email to the flyer, as well as 2 QR codes, where one would lead directly to the complaint portal, the other one will lead to the POAC website. Those additions were made, and then when it's posted online, we will have copies translated to Spanish and Tagalog for access for the community members. So the item here is to recommend the approval of the community flyer and then direct staff to post it to the POAC website and then make it available in Spanish and Tagalog.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve the flyer.
You do.
Could I just ask a couple questions, if you don't mind? Who is monitoring that new email address?
So complaints will, when they go to the general complaint email, I will get a copy and then forward it to VPD for processing.
And then are we able to, once it's been finalized, are we able to physically post these copies somewhere? Or if we go to events to also provide them? Because I know you mentioned they'd be on the website, but I assume we could also use them as handouts?
Yes, the flyer can be printed out and passed out to community in a variety of different languages. If you so choose, we can provide those.
Thank you.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve the flyer.
A second.
Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls? Yes. Commissioner Hybels?
Yes.
Commissioner Roy?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Motion passes by all members present. Next action item 10B is consideration of Vallejo Police Department's proposed policy 803, records management, and adopt a resolution making a recommendation to the Chief of Police concerning the proposed policy, or, in the alternative, not recommending the proposed policy.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commission. Bob Knight, Deputy Chief of Police and your police liaison. To my right is Deputy Chief Sanjay Ramraka, your soon-to-be police liaison. Will be sitting in with me as we go over action item B and then ultimately C, which is two proposed policies that we are seeking your consideration and recommendation on. We submitted a staff report that contained the applicable proposed revisions. This one was a little unique because we had to make the revision fairly quickly. We made this policy change, proposed policy change in consultation with the City Attorney's Office, seeking to resolve a potential discrepancy between the one specific section that we're dealing with tonight, which is policy 803.7, and how that may conflict with Government Code section 7922.570, section B2. So in this case, we issued a special order from the Office of the Chief of Police. That special order is order number 26-01. That was issued on March 5th, 2026, so that these changes could be implemented immediately, but we are required through the POAC ordinance within 6 months to come before you. So we're well within the time frame for that. And in the packet, we included the special order, which really details and outlines the reason for the proposed change. We also included the actual policy itself with the amended language that is in blue. As we go through these, and as we go through these in the future, you'll see that the packet that we produce, the system's capabilities can produce essentially a track changes document that when there's additions, it's in blue. When there's proposed deletions, it's in red. Kind of makes sense. Seems, so far, has seemed to work for us. Open to any suggestions in that regard. So that is the presentation. Happy to get into more granular detail. I will just point out one portion for you guys. Again, 803.7 is the specific section that we're dealing with. And in the special order, the city attorney and then Randy Reisner may speak to this a little bit as you ask questions, that we made this change because it could be considered a violation of that government code state law if we were to put a watermark on a document that we are releasing pursuant to a Public Records Act request. If that watermark, and we were asked to not include it, that could affect the requester's ability to put it into software or to do any type of other data analysis to it. So that's my presentation. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds unless you guys are asking specific questions.
Anybody else?
I'll give you just a brief explanation of why this is needed. So the California Public Records Act has a requirement in it that says when a requester asks for something, they're entitled to receive it in the exact same format in which the city stores it. So we take a document out of storage in this case is generally electronic, that doesn't have a watermark on it, and add a watermark to it, it can violate that section. Some requesters don't care, but there are some who do want to use documents for data purposes. They want to add them or scan them into their systems and use them for various things, and the watermark interferes with that. So that's the point of the amendment to 803.7, is to fix that particular policy so that we don't have that problem anymore.
Randy, could I just also have you clarify what generally happens or what has been happening, right? So if you receive a paper copy record, then there is a physical stamp that includes who it's released to and that it's a controlled document.
Right, I think Deputy Chief can explain that better than me, but yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so if Yeah, if it's stored in electronic format, most electronic systems like Adobe, Microsoft products, they can put a watermark stamp across a document so that we can say, this document was released pursuant to PRA number blank, released to this requester, and then now, if that document is produced in the future, we would know where that release came from. But as the city Assistant City Attorney Risner mentioned, that can alter folks' ability to upload it into certain software. So if they explicitly ask that we not include the watermark, the policy does address that, and we will not do that.
Okay, so it's only when it's explicitly requested that the watermark is not placed on it?
Yes, so if you go to 803.7, let's go to that.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah.
I do see it.
Okay, yeah. So there's two parameters to where we will not do it, and it also gives some specific, it's basically direction to staff, what a policy is, to when they can and when they cannot.
I think having those communications is really helpful for the rest of the commissioners to understand what the process is, because this section is just very specific to that, and they might not have the context of how that beginning, how it starts, the middle, and then the end. So that's why I'm asking these questions.
Sure. Just to add just another piece of information, generally when a requester is going to use PD documents for data purposes or to put into software, they'll let us know they want it in a certain format, right, in advance, generally. And so that's a flag for us to recognize that we need to produce it to them without the watermark. If for some reason we produced it with a watermark and they didn't want it, as soon as they let us know that they'd like to take it off, then we would just reproduce it to them without the watermark.
Thank you.
So do we need a motion for each separate one of these?
You need a motion for, yes, to approve the policy. And I've given you 3 options. You can approve the policy as it stands, as presented. You can approve the policy with changes, or you can not recommend the policy. So there's 3 different options in the resolution. Whichever one the commission picks will check the right box. And you also, if you want to approve the policy, or I'm sorry, recommend the policy with changes, there's room here for us to add in changes if you'd like to do that.
So for clarification purposes, Randy, are you saying if there's something in the policy that stands out to us, we can ask for clarification from Chief Knight?
If there's something, you mean on this particular policy, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that's before you, yes, of course.
Yes. So, so I do have a list of questions. I counted them. There are 12, but I'm not going to read them all. But there is something under policy 803.5 under release restrictions, and it's number O. And my question is the word frivolous still going to be used in the context of this policy? Because POAC recommended another term be used when the complaint policy was reviewed a month ago. So is that word going to be left in this particular policy?
You can recommend similarly to like you did in the complaints policy to recommend that that term be removed. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. I would request that phrase, that term be removed, and I believe we said, I believe it was merit-based, or non.
Without merit.
Without merit, thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that section? It was in 803.
803.5, number O.
Commissioner, or Vice Chair, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So the resolution only addresses this evening 803.7. So to make that change, the best thing to do would be to bring that back to you so you can make that recommendation with another resolution that specifically addresses 803.5, because they are, even though they're in the same basically chapter, they are separate policies.
Okay, so based on what you're saying, that this policy can't move forward if that proposal is being made, or we decide that this evening?
No, I'm not saying that at all. 803.7 is the one that's before you to
Okay.
vote on this evening. If you want to do 803.5, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
We just need to bring back a different resolution for you to
Okay, so
approve.
I would like to make that request, to bring that back as a different
Absolutely.
resolution. Thank you.
Randy, do you need a motion now?
Yes, you need a motion to either do one of the three things that I suggested, which is either to recommend adoption of the ordinance as it is, make a recommendation to adopt the ordinance with changes, or a vote not to recommend it.
And then for vice chair's recommendation, then
Vice
we
Chair
also
we're going to bring that back to you. She asked that it be brought back. We can do that, and I think we can do that at the next meeting.
Okay, and so that one does not need a motion and vote.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda tonight for motion.
I guess I'll make a motion to adopt the proposed changes in section 803, or 805.7?
So Commissioner,
803.7.
Commissioner, can you make a motion to adopt the resolution that's in the packet? That's the one that you need to do, and you need to pick one of the three options. As it stands, with changes or no recommend.
So I make a motion to adopt the resolution that the POAC hereby recommends that the revised policy presented to the Commission regarding Section 803.7 be implemented by the Chief of Police without changes.
I second it.
Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls, Commissioner Hybels,
Yes.
Commissioner Roy,
Yes.
Commissioner Yun.
Yes.
Passes by all members present. Next item, 10C, Commission consideration of Vallejo Police Department proposed policy 900, temporary custody of adults, and adopt a resolution making a recommendation to the Chief of Police concerning the proposed policy, or, in the alternative, not recommending the proposed policy. And again, we have Deputy Chief Knight.
Good evening, Commission. Policy 900, this is an existing policy. This policy has been updated and some proposed revisions to address CALIA. That stands for the Commission on Accreditation of Law Enforcement. So that's a national accreditation authority. It's comprised of several entities. It's a national organization comprised of IACP, that's the International Associations of Chiefs of Police, NOBLE, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Leaders, Executives, the National Sheriff's Association, and PERF, which stands for Police Executive Research Forum. So they basically, CALIA sets a variety of law enforcement standards and best practices throughout the nation. So it appears that they came out with a CALIA set of recommendations that are in version V6.23. Those were reviewed by our policy software system, Lexipol, and we are proposing that this policy be updated to address CALIA's standards. Some of the changes that are highlighted in the policy that was provided with the staff report is in the purpose and scope section. There's content that's been added to address the CALIA standards 71.1.1, which require a written directive regarding safety and security in designated testing rooms and areas. In the emergency alarms section has been added. It's a new subsection. It addresses the standard 71.1.2b, which requires a written directive regarding a panic or duress alarm. Let's see here. Trying to give you this condensed version. In the use of restraint devices section, content has been added to address the standard 71.1.2 section E as in Edward, regarding temporarily securing detainees to an immovable object that is designated and intended for its use. In the training section, content has been added to address standard 71.2.1, which requires initial training on procedures for using designated processing testing areas, a documented initial annual review of the written directive regarding the processing testing areas, and in-service training requirements. Some additional content has been added. It's been moved to a more appropriate section. You'll see a section that's been added called State Required Training. And again, like I said, the State Required Training has been added. This is a new subsection to the training section, and you'll see the additions in blue in that section. So Policy 900 has been provided to the Commission and attached to our staff report. As I mentioned, all the additions are in blue. Any deletions are in red, and that is a summary of the content, proposed content changes. Happy to answer any questions.
Through the chair, I read this and I have a few questions for you. Under section 900.1, where it says testing, Department for Processing or Testing, what kind of testing is occurring and who is doing this testing?
This is a requirement for a departmental policy. Testing could be potentially, it could be considered DNA swabs. In our holding cell, temporary holding cell area, we have a DUI breathalyzer. You can draw blood. Now, we consider that processing, but SCLEA has recommended that you say processing and testing in your policy to encompass all the things that could occur in that holding cell area.
Okay. And if I heard you correctly, you said drawing blood. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, in a DUI investigation, one of the means of, besides a breathalyzer, to obtain evidentiary samples is through drawing blood from a suspect.
Okay, so I'm guessing, I'm not sure, who has the expertise or who's doing that? Is it an officer? Is it who's? I'm just for clarification.
You talking about the blood draw? Mm-hmm. We call an on-call phlebotomist that comes out from, yes.
Okay.
We contract with a company that comes and does it.
Okay, thanks. That was clear. I'm like, okay, who's drawing blood? I'm like, is that your guys' role now? Okay. Okay. There was also in section 900.4 where it says the officer responsible for an individual in temporary custody should evaluate the person for any apparent chronic illness, disability, vermin infestation, possible communicable disease. So the question I have is what kind of training has this officer received to make these types of evaluations? And the one that stood out for me is the one that says communicable disease. I'm not sure how that can be evaluated.
Right. So yeah, that's a good question. The officer would likely not have expertise and or training, any type of medical training. That's why these questions are on the questionnaire. Mm-hmm. So it's a subject-produced questionnaire where we ask the detainee or arrestee these individual questions so they can self-report if those things are the case. Because if and when they are transported to the county jail, mm-hmm. We have to have provided this information before they can determine on intake or whether or not there is a need for further medical treatment or medical clearance before they are incarcerated.
So if that's the case, should there not be a reference that's based on the questions that are posed to the individual under arrest versus having the officer do the evaluation? Because if I heard you correctly, you're saying that's based on the conversation you're having with the individual arrested.
Yes, that's why in blue it says see attachment, and it has the attachment, the confidential medical screening form. Mm-hmm. I think that's the policy's attempt to make that reference, if I'm understanding your question.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the modification of the first sentence where they're saying the officer should evaluate. I'm thinking something along the lines, he should evaluate that should be moved up so it's very clear that's how the evaluation is being done. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So that stood out for me. Wait, let's see. Section 900.5.8, the emergency alarms. Do the current radios have on their portable radios an emergency alarm or emergency button?
Yes.
They do? Okay. Now, what happens if there's a power outage? What happens then? They still have the radio? I mean, like I'm thinking if there's somewhere where they can't use the button inside the building. But
So-
I guess that if the radios have an alarm button, then there's no need to worry about a power outage because you have the button.
Yeah, so the department has a backup generator. The police
Okay.
station has a backup generator. So
Okay.
we have both. So officers have an emergency panic button on their police radio. There's also a duress alarm, a physical, kind of looks like a doorbell, a duress alarm within the holding cell area. So we have both of these areas covered from the policy. And the backup generator does keep the basic necessities of the police department up and running.
So it automatically kicks in whenever there's a power outage? Okay. I know they sound a little crazy questions, but these things pop up in my head. I know under section 900.7, where it says individuals in restraint shall be kept away from other unrestrained individuals in custody and monitored to protect them from abuse. So because I'm always looking at law and order shows, isn't there a possibility an unrestrained person could try and remove a restrained person from versus abuse, but try to remove them? I'm just asking questions because that's how my mind works. But isn't it possible for an unrestrained person to take the restraint off someone? I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I'm going to read the sentence here so I can maybe understand your question. Individuals in restraints shall be kept away from other unrestrained individuals in custody and monitored to protect them from abuse.
Right. So can it be other, so I guess my question is, can it be something other than abuse? Like if there's an attempt to take that person out of their restraints by an unrestrained person?
I guess it could be. I think the issue in which this policy section is trying to address is you have a person who could be affixed to a bench or could be in handcuffs in a room with another offender who, if for some reason is not in restraints, they could hurt that person without that person's ability to defend themselves or get away. That's the concept that I think this section is trying to address. But to your point, I mean, and also they could possibly help that person escape. So
Yeah.
I think the reasons to keep those people apart is the tenet of this policy section.
Okay. And then the training, section 900.13. I think you answered that question, so never mind on that one. The last thing I have to comment on is the actual form itself. Is this a newly created form, or has it always been
This is an existing form.
existing form? So the question I have, and I don't see it on here, but where does this form go? And what happens if a person arrested is too incapacitated to sign this form? Is there any kind of notation made on the form?
Yes, so this form is retained for our internal records at the police department and is scanned in as part of the case, the police report. It is, if the person is either too incapacitated or intoxicated to sign, it is noted on the report. Sometimes people also refuse to sign, so that is also noted on the report that they refuse to sign.
Okay. Should it be on here anywhere that they declined to sign? Because I don't, unless I missed it, I don't.
It's done on the arrestee signature section. The officer will write, refuse to sign, too intoxicated to sign, and the notes will be made in that section.
Okay, should that be part of the policy then, that they should put this, that should be noted on here, that if the arrestee refuses to sign, it should be noted somewhere?
Yeah, it could be your recommendation, yeah. I don't think that would be a bad idea if it's not in there.
Okay. All right, I think that's enough. I think that's it. Thank you.
DC, I wanted to point out before I forget about it, you have two 5.8s. I don't know if you noticed that. Just a typo alert.
You said 900 point.
On page 39. You have two 900.5.8s.
Yeah, the system, once we actually, if we accept this addition, the software will renumber everything. So yes, thank you for bringing that.
I have a question. So in regards to 900.4, I would like to see language that says the officer is responsible for completion of the screening form and remove the evaluation, or to basically say the responsibility of the officer is to complete the form, and based on that information, they can determine all of those categories. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay.
It'll be in the resolution, right? So just make sure it's all in the resolution so we can get those recommendations.
Maybe, okay, the officer is responsible for completion of the confidential medical receiving and screening form for an individual in temporary custody to determine, sorry, I'm doing this on the fly, to determine if there are any apparent chronic illness, et cetera, et cetera.
So you're not proposing an addition, you're proposing alternative language, is what I'm hearing.
Right, just to clarify what that attachment is.
Okay.
Because we say that it's an attachment, but we don't put any onerous on why that attachment is required or that it needs to be required.
Okay.
And that still falls in this section for edits, right? Okay. I'm happy if anyone else wants to wordsmith.
So are there any other comments on this item? Do we make a motion here on
Through the
this?
chair, we do have a speaker online that would like to speak on this item.
Oh, good.
Carol Heap, please unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Yes, good evening. My comment is I kind of came in late to this discussion, so if this is redundant, I apologize. The form you were talking about, the medical evaluation checklist form, I thought all your comments were really good. And I'm not sure, I haven't seen the form. So, in addition to the requirement that the officer is responsible for the form, whatever, I also think if there isn't a place on that form for the officer's signature, so that if we ever need to go back and look at it, there's a place to see who the officer, if the officer completed the form, and if so, there should be a signature. If there's no signature in the signature box, then there should be a cross-reference to the police report, and the officer writing the police report would be the secondarily responsible person for assuring that that form was signed and that issuing officer will be held responsible for assuring the signature on that form. That's it. Thank you.
No other speakers on this item at this time.
Through the chair. And when you look at the resolution, which is on page 29, can you look at the heading at the top? I think that you caught it.
It has a typo.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was going to mention that.
Okay.
We often use templates to do these over and over again, and that's just a line I forgot to take out. So
Okay.
sorry about that.
That's all right.
It will be taken out when it's sent to the chair to sign.
Okay. I just want to make note of that. Thank you.
Of course.
Through the chair, we did not call for public comment for the previous item, so if we can,
There were no.
there was no public.
No
Is there
speakers at that
anyone
time.
who signed up?
We just heard the speaker for that item.
Okay.
Yep, before you move forward with taking action on this, I wanted to make sure I have all the possible changes down. I got Commissioner Yunn's, and I only wrote down one of yours, Vice Chair, which was to require the officer to fill in the form when the individual is unable to sign for either being intoxicated or refusing to sign.
That's correct. It
That
should
was
be
one
noted
of-
on the
is
form
there-
itself.
Was there any more than, other ones than that?
No, I think it was one of the ones that actually Commissioner Yoon kind of
Okay.
wordsmith.
All right, then hopefully we got them all.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion here?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that the revised policy presented to the commission be modified with the changes that were proposed by the vice chair and Commissioner Young.
I second.
Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls, yes. Commissioner Hybels,
Yes.
Commissioner Roy,
Yes.
Commissioner Yun.
Yes.
Motion passes by all members present. It seems like we do have one person with their hand raised to make a comment on item 10B.
Carol, please raise your hand if you did want to speak on an item that was previously on the agenda that you did not get a chance to speak on. Otherwise, oh, yep, there she goes. Feel free to unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Okay, yeah, oh, yeah, it just reminded me when you brought this back for 10B. Last week, your last meeting, there were the people, somebody who was ever responsible for checking to see if any hands were up in the Zoom, forgot to do so on the last 3 items that were on the agenda, because I actually wanted to speak on all 3 items. But I had my hand raised, but nobody checked to see if there was anybody online that wanted to speak. So whoever's responsible for checking the online hands, if they would please just, and if the chair would double check each time, make a note to themselves that to always check to see if there's online speakers, I'd appreciate it. That's all. I just wanted to make sure I covered that. Thank you.
So moving on to action item 10D. So this is discuss the creation of. Yeah. Yeah. Discuss the creation of bylaws for the POAC and consider adopting a resolution to establish an ad hoc subcommittee of the Police Oversight and Accountability Commission and appointment of members to make recommendations regarding the creation of bylaws. So, as included in the packet, there was a staff report where the POAC members at the last meeting wanted this to come back tonight to potentially establish an ad hoc subcommittee to discuss the creation of bylaws for the POAC Commission. So I believe that there's a resolution in your packet for you if you'd like to create the subcommittee for this item. You can appoint up to 3 members as usual. And I guess that concludes the item. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Would you be able to tell us what the process will be, as in the ad hoc committee can meet by themselves, or does staff need to also attend as part of that?
You can meet by yourselves. If you want assistance from staff, we can help you with that. For example, the bylaws have a legal implication to them, so we'd be happy to provide assistance with that. And when that happens, we can even make space available at City Hall if you want for the meetings, or we can do Zoom, however you want to do it.
So we could draft basically for a proposed basically
Sure.
bylaws and then present it to staff.
Absolutely right, yes.
Okay, so we're going to set up an ad hoc committee, and I volunteer myself. And who else would like to be on that committee? Okay.
You can add me, John, onto the committee too. You can add me on there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Through the chair, we have one member of the public who would like to speak on this item. Dr. Schoistel, please approach the podium.
As a former chair of the Planning Commission, I have a couple suggestions to you for this subcommittee. First, I think that you need to review the bylaws of other oversight committees, because those are probably the most germane for what you're trying to do. And hopefully it covers most of the rules and issues. There's two things that I found as a chair that you should insist on if you want an independent committee. One is that the chair have the final say over the agenda. Staff should not be the one who drives the agenda. It should be the committee, and in the end, it should be the chair. Second, don't allow the staff to cancel a meeting unless they have agreement of the chair, because there may be times you want to meet and it's inconvenient for the staff, but that's their problem, not the committee's problem. In addition, I would recommend maybe starting first by looking at the bylaws of the Vallejo Planning Commission. They're probably the most detailed of any commission that Vallejo has, and they were already approved. So you have less to worry about in the language and things, rather than in some cases it's already there and you just, copy and paste types of things. I think it's critical that your bylaws be clear and that they be promulgated, because I think this drives everything that you do as a commission. Thank you.
And through the chair, currently do not have any members of the public signed up to speak online. Feel free to carry on. Did you want to speak, Mr. Carizales? Oh, okay.
You need a motion on the resolution.
I'll make a motion to form the ad hoc committee with Chair Lewis, Vice Chair Sykes, and Commissioner Qualls.
I second.
That was a motion by Commissioner Yun and a second by Chair Lewis? Okay. Chair Lewis?
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls? Yes. Commissioner Hybels?
Yes.
Commissioner Roy?
Yes.
Commissioner Yun?
Yes.
Passes by all members present. So next item, action item E, is adopt a resolution to establish an ad hoc subcommittee of the Police Oversight and Accountability Commission and appointment of members to make recommendations regarding goal setting. So again, there's a staff report in your packet. Essentially, members indicated at your last special meeting that you wanted to set up another ad hoc subcommittee to meet and discuss setting goals for the commission. So tonight you have the opportunity to adopt a resolution to again establish a subcommittee of up to 3 members so that you could meet and discuss goals for the POAC. And that concludes this report. Happy to take any questions on that.
Through the chair, I was just curious who put together the goals item in our packet. Was that extracted from our last meeting that we just, the special meeting?
I'm guilty. I did it.
You did it.
I confess.
It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to set up a subcommittee, and I'm suggesting Commissioner Sykes, and
I'd like to volunteer.
I don't know that it has to be 3 members. It can be up to 3.
yeah. So we're happy with 2 members. I'm happy with 2 members. So I make a motion that we establish the subcommittee, the ad hoc committee.
I'll second.
Chair Lewis? Commissioner Sykes?
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls? Commissioner Hybels?
Yeah.
Commissioner Roy?
Yes.
Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Motion carries by all members present. So next up is action item 10F, the discussion of Vallejo Police Department complaint form, and consider adopting a resolution to establish an ad hoc subcommittee of the Police Oversight and Accountability Commission and appointment of members to make recommendations regarding revising the VPD complaint form. So again, there was a short staff report on this item, and so as mentioned previous, at the special meeting, the POAC members, you wanted the option of setting up a subcommittee, an ad hoc subcommittee, to make revisions to the complaint form. So you have the option, again, to do so tonight. You can appoint up to 3 members to the ad hoc subcommittee in consideration of making updates to the complaint form. And that concludes this item. Happy to take any questions.
So through the chair, there's already a ad hoc committee for the complaint policy, so I take it we have to see if they still want to be part of that committee, because we already have one established. So would it be an amendment to the resolution then?
If you want to do that, if you want to use you're talking about the complaint policy ad hoc subcommittee, this could just be assigned to them. You can just adopt a motion this evening assigning it to them rather than creating a new committee, if that's what you want to do.
I do. So I can make the motion? So
Through the chair, we do have 3 speakers online that would like to speak on this item.
Oh, okay.
All right, 2 speakers in person and 1 online. First speaker, Dr. Scheusel, followed by Jose Carizales, and then online we have Carol Heap.
Let me say that the current complaint process and form is not citizen-friendly and needs to be significantly revised, as it only meets the needs of the police, not those of the citizens. Remember who created the form? It's the police. Not that they purposely are biased, but we're all biased in different ways. And they put a form together that meets their needs, not the citizens' needs. And also, please be aware that this needs to be more than just a form. If you just have a form, it's going to fail. You need things like confidentiality statements and other things. So just calling it a complaint form could be very misleading. I think you need to call it more the complaint process or something else. And let me give you what I think are some of the key, from doing market research, some of the key steps that you need to undertake. First, I think you need to interview individuals who filed a complaint in the last 3 years to understand how they perceived the process, the form, and what needs to be changed. You know, what was confusing to them, or what they didn't understand, or whatever. And the Vallejo police should also be interviewed to get their perspective, because some of the officers who are actually doing these investigations may wish the form was a little different. 2, as part of the process, the chief's letter needs to be reviewed by the public for both understanding and believability. It's a nice letter, but I don't think it resonates with the average. He wrote it the way a policeman would write it, not the way maybe the public needs it written. 3, and I think this is so critical, you need a citizen's confidentiality rights section. You need to, for example, things that need to be in there is being allowed to bring someone to the interview. Can you have a POAC person there at the interview also to see what's going on? I think that's critical for your committee. You need to tape the interviews and provide copies of the person. You need to develop a mechanism for keeping the person informed about what's happening And you need to have a confidentiality and rights statement that is clear and believable to the citizens. Right now, you don't have any of that. And finally, you need a diagram to show the complaint process. You've talked about it, but you know what? No one still understands what it is. And how can you expect a member of the public to go through this if they don't even know what's required? Next, you need to ask the city council members to show the revisions to some people in their district and gather input. And you also need to then develop some scenarios, like maybe an officer was rude to you or whatever, and get feedback by asking people who are not familiar with the situation to fill out the form and tell you what needs to be changed to make it work. Thank you.
Next speaker, Joey Carrizales.
Jose Carrizales. I align my thoughts with my young friend, Dr. Schuchel. He certainly read my mind as I was sitting back there, and I was applauding his words. My thought process is just providing or allowing a reasonable time limit to fully investigate. There's people here sitting in the front row are going to give you excuses as to why they couldn't do it in 30 days, they couldn't do it in 45 days, and 60 days, and 90 days. They're probably the number one excuse is their low staffing. But each complaint is unique and individualized, or it could take 6 months, or it could take 30 days. But only these people will know. So I would hope that the ad hoc committee would give timelines depending on the circumstances of that complaint. The other second part, I guess I would say, is just to give these people an opportunity to be more communicating, more communicative with the citizens who file the complaint. Be more open to them. Engage in a dialogue, in a positive dialogue, not a negative dialogue, which they seem to love to do. Hey, you know, we received your complaint. Give us some time. It involves certain parameters that we must follow. We'll take an additional 30 days. Due to the basis of your complaint, it may take additional 45 days. I think the communication level should be higher with citizen complaints. Truth and transparency are two words that are spoken about a lot, especially these people wearing the uniform there because of their past history. And everybody knows. So now is an opportunity to be better. How can we be better? How can this POAC be better? We give you grace just like you're asking us to honor and respect the process. These people here sitting in the front row should honor and respect the citizen. Obviously, a complaint is a complaint, but each complaint should be dealt with fairly, reasonably, in a timely manner, not a year later, not 8 months later, obviously depending on the circumstances. But I hope there will be some sort of restrictions on that. Thank you.
Next speaker, Carol Heap. Please unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Hello again. Okay, so obviously Dr. Sessions' comments are all very important, and it sounds a little ominous to create a form that deals with all these details, but it can make it real easy for you if you just call a couple of other civilian review agencies and ask them to send you a copy of their complaint form. A lot of people have been in this business for some decades. So they have got this complaint form down to an art, and all you have to do is maybe tweak it specifically to Vallejo and our commission, but otherwise, your work's done for you. You know, it should be a simple process, and I'm not minimizing it, but really, the work's done for you. Just make the phone calls. And confidentiality, right at the top of the form, there should be a statement about the confidentiality of the complaint form. But that'll be on the other forms that you request. So again, you don't have to redo what's already been done for you. And then the other thing I wanted to suggest is it's amazing how time flies. So I think it's really important that you establish that these deadlines for these subcommittees to maybe report back each meeting on their progress, or at least every other meeting on their progress. Maybe start bringing drafts of things that they're working on for public, but put a deadline, 3 months, to have a draft like in 2 months, and to shoot for like 3 months for a final draft of the policy or whatever they're working on. Because before you know it, it'll be 6 months down the road. You've been onto so many other business items that it'll just escape your attention. So give yourself some deadlines. It's always better to work with deadlines. Thank you. That's all.
No other speakers at this time, Chair.
Okay, so on this item, we already have a ad hoc committee established, so I think we just move on to the next item.
Can you guys make a motion to assign it to the existing committee?
Through the chair, sorry. I believe that one of the members of the ad hoc committee is no longer on the commission. I would be interested in volunteering to be a part of the ad hoc committee. Would that change the mechanism for how we do this now?
It does, so
Yeah.
then this is what I would recommend if you want to do that. Just adopt the new resolution with the names of the two existing members on the complaint ad hoc committee and add Commissioner Roy.
So I make a motion that we adopt the ad hoc committee with Commissioner Qualls, myself, and Commissioner Roy.
I'll second.
That includes adopting the resolution, Chair?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So wait, just to restate, you named all three commissioners?
We're
So
adopting the resolution with the three names in it.
Lewis, Qualls, and Roy.
She's there, yeah. Qualls, Lewis, and Roy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls, Commissioner Hybels,
Yeah.
Commissioner Roy,
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Okay, passes by all members present. Okay, so final action item 10G is discussion, feedback, and acceptance of annual report and the addendum as required by ordinance number 1878. What was that? NC 2D section 18.03.050R. So this was a short staff report as well in your packet. This is allowing you to discuss and provide feedback along with reviewing the addendum to the annual report to ensure that it includes all the items outlined in the ordinance, and then adoption of the annual report. So if you have any questions, happy to take them.
Through the chair, we do have two speakers on this item. Santa, I believe, did you sign up for this item as well? Well, we don't have a sign up for that, unfortunately. Dr. Scheusel, please approach the podium.
I have a statement and a question. I think that this document is a critical document, but right now it's one of the well-kept secrets of Vallejo. And my question is, will this be agendized for city council? I don't even think most of city council is aware of what's gone on with POAC over the last year. And I think the public has a right to know what happened, and so that hopefully in the future things go a lot more smoothly. And I was wondering if whether some of the staff here tonight could, if through the chair, whether you could ask them, is it going to go to city council or not?
Well, it was sent to city council. That's in the ordinance that it goes to city council. So
Can the liaison request, not, she hasn't been here for a while, but request that it be made an agenda item? It ought to be something that's discussed, because I think for most citizens in Vallejo, this is like potholes. This is one of the more important things for a lot of citizens, is their safety, and they want good policing and things, and I think they care about what's happening with this issue. Thank you.
Through the chair, no other speakers on this item at this time.
thank you. So the report and the ordinance does specify some things that should have been in the report and were not. And so I can sit down and write up just a short addendum to add to the report and submit it. Does that take?
I think we did that, didn't we?
Yeah,
Did we?
it's page 71.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
addendum,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
The request was to include the trainings, the number of complaints reviewed, any investigatory reviews done, policies approved, and any other miscellaneous activities we've done over the last year.
All right. So is there any other discussion about this report? I think,
Just to remind the commission that since the entire commission has never before approved the entire report, that's part of the point tonight, not just the addendum, so we need you to approve the entire report.
okay, I make a motion that we improve the report.
Chair Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Sykes,
Yes.
Commissioner Qualls, Commissioner Hybels,
Yes.
Commissioner Roy,
Yes.
Commissioner Yun.
Yes.
Item passes by all members present. Next, we have the information calendar. We don't have any items under that. So item number 12, future agenda items.
Through the chair, I know back in April, and I don't know where this is right now, there was a discussion to do a scope of work for Rania Adwan. So I don't know if that's still on the table, but this was something that was discussed with former City Manager Murray.
The scope of work for who? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Rania Adwan. Rania.
Oh, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't done. I thought she was already a consultant. Oh. can you elaborate? It was the scope of work for continued services or additional services?
I believe it's for continued services. I think there were some of the commissioners did the training in person and some did it online. And so it would just be good for the commissioners, because it's been literally over a year, to have a little bit of review of some of the things we were trained on. And so we would be bringing her forth for that. And then the other thing, which I know we talked about training, but to find out what the specific training is that we will be receiving from the Vallejo Police Department.
Yeah. Okay.
So is there anything else on future agenda items? All right. Then I think we adjourn to closed session.
We have to, we have to read it first.
Yeah, read it first.
Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, the Commission will meet in closed session this evening concerning public employee discipline, dismissal, release pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, discussion and consideration of complaints and reports. To discuss complaints, charges, investigations, and discipline involving Vallejo Police Department employees and information deemed confidential under California Penal Code Sections 832.5 through 832.8 and Evidence Code Section 1040. You're going to review complaints CC 26-41, 26-42, 26-43, 26-44, 26-45, 26-46, 26-47, 26-48, and 26-49. You're also going to consider investigation reports for recommendation, and those reports would be IR 26-01 and 26-02.
Okay, POAC is returning from closed session at 8:35.
He has to turn it on.
Oh.
Through the chair, this is Manuel. You can go ahead and continue.
Okay, so report out from closed session.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. The Commission did meet in closed session this evening concerning the following: public employee discipline dismissal release pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, discussion and consideration of complaints and reports, to discuss complaints, charges, investigations, and discipline, unless the employee requests an open public session involving Vallejo Police Department employees and information deemed confidential under California Penal Code Section 832.5 through 832.8 and Evidence Code Section 1040. You reviewed the following complaints and gave staff direction pursuant to the POAC ordinance. You reviewed CC 26-41, 26-42, 26-43, 26-44, 26-45, 26-46, 26-47, 26-48, and 26-49. As to the consideration of investigative reports for recommendation, IR 26-01 and 26-02, that was continued to the July meeting. And that completes the report out.